Hey, everyone. Welcome to Fox 10 Talks. Again, Wednesday, 3 o'clock. Brian Webb, Trenton Hooker. Kenzie Beach is joining us. She's got a couple of great stories she's working on, and Michael Loeb steering the bus over there. Is it the ship or the bus? I always make up
It's off the rails as well.
It's off the rails.
Submarine.
It's still moving in a general direction forward.
We're going.
That's
onward.
good.
Yes.
And if you'd like to join us on YouTube, we'd love to have you. Kenzie, got a couple of things going on. Yesterday was huge. That story is awful, huh?
Crazy.
Just awful.
Yeah, I mean, we hear stabbing at a high school.
Right.
You don't know how many people are involved, what's going on. We do know it was a fight between two male students. We believe they're freshmen. One of them, unfortunately, stabbed to death. Just crazy. And we were talking about it this morning in the meeting. I mean, per Arizona, I mean, have we ever had a deadly
I was most
incident
shocked
like that
about
at a high school?
that we didn't really have a reference for a murder or stabbing or even a school shooting.
Yeah,
that goes
I mean,
back
this
in
happened
Arizona.
on campus in the classroom.
And deadly. Yeah, I don't think I've been here off and on 20 years. I don't think I've ever heard of a deadly incident at a school. I don't think.
No.
And so you pull up, and is it just mass chaos?
Absolute chaos. Even the parents' response. I mean, that shows a little bit of it right there, but that street on 59th, it turned into a parking lot. Parents you could just see the desperation in their eyes.
Yeah.
If you get a text message from the school that says, we're on lockdown, everything's okay, but don't come to the school. These parents did the complete opposite. They're like, I'm going to go get my child.
Right.
So parents parked their car in the middle of the street on 59th and just were at that gate, hands against the fence. I mean, many of them shaking, crying, couldn't reach their kids, or those that had heard from their kids just, wanted to hold them to know they were okay.
Well, and we were talking about it earlier this morning, but the communication that went out too was so sparse.
Yeah.
Which is, there's an incident going on, we're on lockdown, don't come get your kids.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of
it's so hard because, I feel like in this moment, the school's priority is the kids.
Right.
So maybe they're not thinking how concerned the parents are, but the parents were very frustrated. I mean, there's that whole thing about cell phones at school and having them or not having them. But in this case, you might want your kid to have their cell phone.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Up until today, it was no, we don't want them to have their, because it's disruptive in class, get those cell phones away. But then when an emergency happens, you want to be able to talk to mom and dad and vice versa.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to me, when I saw that the parents were kind of being, hey, kind of pushed back, and that part of it, what came to mind just, recently, and I think for the country too, it wasn't that long ago that we had these mass shootings where similar things happened in Uvalde, especially, where parents were fighting against Texas DPS to try to get into the school to save their children. And it was so heartbreaking, but actually parents were being detained and arrested there too. So, your heart goes out to, you got to try to find your kid. Are they okay?
Exactly.
And at the same time, you get that lifeline of what's going on. And man, so heartbreaking.
Did the parents mainly just then, was someone directing them at that point as to what to do? Police?
I mean, it grew so quickly. We were live at noon, and after that, that's just swarms of parents. I mean, you had parents that just left work without saying anything, weren't going to go to work, just wanted to be there for their kids. And like you mentioned, I mean, this is a small glimpse. This is, two kids in an argument, but for any parent, just knowing your kid is somewhere where they're not safe, that was the priority for parents. I mean, parents were shaking, trembling, crying, and seeing those reunifications of kids running to their parents and hugging them and crying. They were very grateful it wasn't their kid. But again, there's a freshman in high school that didn't get to go home to their parents yesterday.
Right.
Heartbreaking.
Do we know, not that it really matters, but was there a previous problem between these two? Do we know anything about the
There's
history?
a lot of talk on social media that the two had previous altercations or fight or something of the sort. But again, I mean, they're freshmen. It's the first month of school. So.
And there's just so much about this one we just don't even know.
So much.
That's played out. I know that when the police chief, right, this was the Phoenix police chief's first press conference that he was giving as chief, and just saying, I'm not going to give any information on what the particulars are right now because we're still gathering that.
Kenzie, this may be premature on this too, although it goes back to a previous school incident I covered probably 2 years ago. Wasn't there a debate a while to whether to have these SRO officers
School resource officers
in school or not? Like some people think it sends the wrong message and maybe it's a bad idea. Others think, well, maybe it could help in a situation like this. Had he got wind of a fight before it happened? I don't know. Did that pop up at all?
That was talked about because the school resource officer went straight to the classroom, rendered aid to the kid, and got additional help to get to the school as soon as possible. So I think that kind of bridges that gap between teacher and law enforcement. But there was also a lot of talk as where was the teacher and how did it get to this point?
Yeah. The video, unfortunately, we've seen, it didn't look like anybody else was around in particular. So,
yeah,
I guess
pretty graphic.
I guess the teachers and SRO did what they could. But if a kid pulls another kid inside of an empty classroom,
I don't think we know enough.
Yeah.
And how it all played out. I mean, the clip that was going on social media was so short, and just really it's the act you kind of see briefly. But yeah, I'm hoping that at least we'll get that answer from police of how all this started, what was their response, and really what was the fallout with the rest of it.
And we think it was scissors, Kenzie?
Now we're hearing it may not have been scissors. That's originally what kids at the school were saying, because I think they had the same question. How did this get on campus? There are metal detectors there.
Right.
How they work, how that goes, I think those are now all questions that people are asking. And we're seeing, again, the use of social media and kids taking out their phones, filming this, which, that gets a lot of opinions too. But now you have Phoenix Police asking for all of these kids to turn in their cell phone video and pictures that they took, because that's going to help them piece together what happened.
Well, I know you've been quite busy. Last week when we talked to you, you were up in Apache County, Navajo County too, right?
We were remote.
So remote up there. But the Rebekah Baptiste story, the tragedy of the 10-year-old girl being murdered, I know there's a new video that was released this week, and so tragic too.
Yeah.
Just a heartbreaking story.
If you haven't seen the body camera, go watch it. We have it on our website, and we cut it up because, they're trying to give this girl CPR in the video. But I spoke to a body language expert today because I had so many questions. And this woman I spoke to has done this for more than 20 years and was just astonished by the lack of urgency, the lack of concern, and just how the demeanor of both Rebekah Baptiste's father and his girlfriend. One thing she pointed out that sticks with me is officers are giving this girl CPR and asking, whose child is this? Whose child is this? And the dad says, it's mine.
Oof.
And right away, the body language expert is saying a parent doesn't refer to their child as an it.
Yeah.
Not once do they mention Rebekah, a girl, my daughter, it's. And that is heavy.
I think we have just a brief clip we can play in just a few seconds if we could, Mike.
How long has it been since you found her unresponsive?
We don't know. The neighbor brought her.
For us, when did the neighbor bring her?
She was almost basically like this. She was slightly responsive. She was still breathing on her own.
What do you explain to me what you mean responsive?
Like she was just breathing on her own.
Breathing on her own?
But that was about it. And then as we were driving this way, started seeing color change in her lips, and we were just...
When he had handed her to us, that bulge in her chest, that was making me afraid of... I didn't even think to start CPR. I just thought, let me keep breathing for her, and let's just go.
Okay.
So in that video, he does say she a couple times, but you see Anicia Woods says, I didn't even think to give her CPR. Didn't even think. That video is the first time that little girl was given CPR after they think she might have been unresponsive for multiple hours.
Do we know why at that point she might have been unresponsive? Or what had happened right at that
they
point?
are saying that they found her in a wash and maybe she might have fell, but none of her injuries, this is from experts and doctors that have 140 pages of hospital reports, say that her injuries are not conclusive with falling into a wash.
And you just got the reports
from DCS.
From DCS.
So this is also very interesting. I mean, we've reached out to every agency from Phoenix all the way to Apache County to get reports. And today is the first time that DCS has given every single time that a DCS report was made regarding Rebekah Baptiste. I found this fascinating. The first report was made in 2015. 10 years ago, Rebekah is 10 years old.
Yeah.
So 12 reports over 10 years. A lot of people are asking, why weren't the kids removed from the home? Well, according to DCS, they have very specific criteria that it has to meet. And something I highlighted and found very interesting is that it has to be evidence against a parent, guardian. Well, Anicia Woods is not technically the parent or guardian. But it's hard to hear 12 reports over 10 years.
Her entire life.
Her whole life.
Her
and her siblings. And I will say DCS did remove the kids from the home from 2019 to 2022. So for a couple years, they were in the care of the state.
And as someone brought up, I guess the way of thinking now is to try to get them back with the parents.
That is exactly how the system is set up. The system is set up to reunite these families, keep the kids in the home, or get the kids back to the home. So a lot of these reports, the quote that is kind of repeatedly used is there was not enough evidence to support the allegations. Services were provided to the family, whether that's a daycare or a course they could take and stuff like that. But ultimately, it wasn't enough.
And that's, I guess, my question at the end of all of this. What needed to be enough? I mean, clearly she died. So
we do know now the two other brothers are in foster care. So obviously their parents are in jail. But
gosh, and then you just wonder, you got a big government agency here, you have privacy issues. Are we ever going to know the real truth?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that job is extremely hard. My brother used to go into houses like that and try to make those determinations when he was a very young man. And he said how difficult it was. And you don't get necessarily the full picture when you walk into a house of strangers at that moment.
Yep.
At that moment, everything might be fine.
I think that's a good point. You know, had mentioned earlier, your brother, whether you spend an hour in that home, that's not really giving a full picture of what might be going on.
I wonder when they
doors.
told Rebekah she was going back with her family, even at that age.
Well, I've been in close contact with her former foster mom. And
we're out of time. Sorry.
Okay, well, stay tuned.
Kenzie, doing great.
It's your birthday today, too, right?
Hey.
Shout out.
Thank you, Ryan.
Shout out birthday, Kenzie. All right.
Watching Fox 10 Talks. Hang with us. Hey everyone, you're watching Fox 10 Talks again. Thank you. Trenton Hooker, Brian Webb. We're back. We did have a question in the chat about the Maryville High School stabbing that happened. Good question there. Appreciate that. Will the suspect in that be charged as an adult? Again, right now we're just still waiting on some information from Phoenix Police about exactly what transpired. And I think it's really early right now to see where that's at. That suspect's also in the hospital, too, with that.
But good question to know what the guidelines are on those. I'd love to talk to Rachel Mitchell, our county attorney, about how you decide that. Is the level of violence what tips it? Is 16 close enough to 18? All those questions kind of roll through my head.
Right.
But we have another interesting story going on that I got a little wrong. I'm sorry,
okay.
but let's
We're going to set the record
straight. Yeah,
exactly.
Go for it.
So NPR's Kiara Eisner. Kiara, thank you so much for joining with us. Again, we were talking a little bit in the break, but fascinating reporting from you with NPR that the State Department apparently left some documents on a printer at the business center for the summit between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin that happened in Alaska.
Correct.
Fascinating. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so there were 8 pages of documents that were left at the Hotel Captain Cook, which is located about 20 minutes from the base where Putin and Trump were set to meet later that day. The documents were found at around 9 a.m. The first of the meetings started at 11:30 a.m., as the documents show. And the 8 pages showed the exact rooms with the exact times that the dignitaries were going to meet in a couple of hours. They showed the 3 names of U.S. staff that were helping with the event and their phone numbers. They had pronunciations for the Russian dignitaries. You can see in the pages that it's supposed to be pronounced P-O-O-T-I-H-N, Putin.
Like they don't know by now, right?
Yeah, and in that first page that you're showing here, you can see that there was a gift that was supposed to be given from President Trump to President Putin, and that was a gift of an American bald eagle desk statue. So these are some of the details that were in the documents. And then on the other page that you're showing there on the left, that is a menu for the lunch that was supposed to be held but wasn't ultimately held. And as you can see in the first part, it says that the luncheon is going to be held, quote, in honor of His Excellency Vladimir Putin.
Sure. Lots of flattery going around on that piece of paper. Kiara, what's your biggest takeaway? I mean, this is like, how many times now has someone from this administration left something behind of somewhat importance? It's almost a pattern. Is that the biggest takeaway for you, or is it this more of an individual situation that draws your attention?
It certainly seems to follow a pattern. I talked to a lawyer from UCLA who lectures on national security, and he mentioned that he believes this shows a pattern of incompetence. And like you mentioned, there have been previous examples of this under this administration. One of those happened in March, when the Secretary of Defense and other top leaders added a journalist to a signal chat regarding upcoming strikes to Yemen. And recently, last week, there was an example where a group of DHS officials added a random person to another group chat about the hunt for someone who was convicted of murder. And yes, some of the reactions to this have been that this seems to follow a pattern of incompetence. It is not standard protocol to leave behind pages that contain exact locations of where the president will be. And it reveals details about how this administration was viewing the whole summit. And you can get a hint of that in how the luncheon was supposed to be held in honor of His Excellency Vladimir Putin. That is, I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah, it surely does. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, no, that was actually the part that I wanted to focus in on if we could, because we did hear from President Trump after the summit, and what seemed like it was cut very short there from what was planned before. But again, what was your impression and takeaway from what the president said afterward with working what he says will be a peace deal rather than a ceasefire, compared to what these documents show and how the terms were for President Putin there.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that the documents don't hold information about what was discussed during the summit. They don't indicate that. So I can't comment on that. But what we know from how the summit turned out is that Trump did not walk away with a stop to the conflict, which was a goal that he had, and he had said that he would be disappointed if he didn't have that. And we also know that he rolled out a literal red carpet for Vladimir Putin. And I think in the documents, you can see some more details about how the administration was viewing this event. I should note, we asked the White House for comment about these documents as well as the State Department, and the White House dismissed the documents and indicated that they do not believe it was a security breach that somebody left these documents on a public hotel printer. And they dismissed the documents as a, quote, multi-page lunch menu.
Wow. Downplay. Well, that's what you do when you get caught doing something wrong or messing up, right? On a much less serious note, if I heard you right, was one of the gifts a bald eagle going to Putin? Why would he want our national symbol on his desk? Or did I get that wrong?
No, you got that right. It's a gift from President Trump to Putin of an American eagle desk statue.
Do we know the color of the bald eagle?
Yes, I guess it doesn't matter, but it's like...
I'm going to take some guesses there. Yeah.
Red, white, and blue, maybe?
Gold. Well,
great reporting. And is President Trump your beat, so to speak?
No, I'm an investigative reporter, so I report on harm being done wherever it is done. And in this case, this was an example of a security breach that could potentially have harmed President Trump or our nation if these documents were put in the hands of the wrong person at the wrong time.
True.
So I'm a national investigative reporter. I can report on anything where harm is being done, and this was certainly under that.
Yeah, if you could, Kiara, talk a little bit about the national security aspect of this in this second Trump administration, especially after the plans for the strike on Iran and the group chat with the security issues there that were happening. Do you feel like we're going to be in for a few more years of more of the same, or was there any pivot points that you've seen in this administration where changes might be happening down the road?
Well, speaking from the last thing that we saw that I'm aware of, which is these documents being left in a public hotel printer, that is the latest indication that I've seen of how the administration is functioning and prioritizing national security. And from that, it doesn't seem to me to be a top concern.
Right. And Kiara, what you do, investigative reporting, I mean, my hat's off to you. That is where the real work is done. And I'm guessing you don't want to reveal your sources necessarily, but do these type of stories and these documents in particular, is there any light you can shed on how they made their way to you, without ruffling any feathers or outing somebody you don't want to out?
Yes, I can tell you a little bit more about what I know about how they were found. So multiple guests who were staying at the hotel Captain Cook. Sorry, did I get that name wrong? The hotel, Hotel
I think
Captain.
That's right, yeah.
So there were multiple guests who viewed these pages on the hotel printer. And I spoke to, in fact, an employee yesterday, who mentioned that person actually went back. She had seen the documents, somebody had handed them to her, and she went back to the printer to see whether she could find more information, which was a good call, because sometimes when you use a public computer or a public printer, there is a copy of those files
right
on the hard drive. And she did say that she found the copy that was still on the hard drive and printed out additional copies.
Oh my gosh. It's almost like they said, "Hey, intern, can you go down and make some copies of this lunch thing we got here?" And that was like the extent of it, right? It just seems so willy-nilly. Not that, we all make mistakes, but this is a semi-regular pattern of leaking fairly important information.
Hope it improves. That's it.
Great reporting. Appreciate your time today. Good stuff. We'll keep an eye out for more.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Too.
Thank you. Oh boy.
Let's talk about what you're working on.
I have off and on worked on stories about the water situation for Colorado, from the Colorado River into Arizona. Mm-hmm. Today, several mayors, 24, I believe, had a little powwow in front of the news media. And I guess the takeaway was that they wanted to show a united front, that they are doing everything they can. And that includes from programs to conserve water, to finding new sources of water, but also mainly to fight to keep the Colorado River water flowing to Arizona, as we all.
And just to put in the context, right? Without the Colorado River, we don't live here.
We don't live here. It's
right.
It's now. I did talk to my go-to expert on this is Sarah Porter over at ASU. She's a guru on this stuff, and she says technically cities like Phoenix get about 30% of their water from the Colorado River. Other sources, SRP has some other things happening, and reclaiming water is a big thing already. It's going to be even bigger, and pretty soon we're going to all be bathing and drinking in reclaimed water. Is my guess. But anyway, so I think they just were showing a united front, because what started as a compact with the western states, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona, California, I'm forgetting somebody, was signed originally in 1922. There you go. Thank you, Michael. As you can see, we're at the bottom of the pecking order there, because the snowpack that melts in the Rockies comes down to us. That's all that our water from that. And Colorado's the big dog. And in this case, Sarah explained to me, it's good that they are on our side, because they are considered lower basin. And it's like the Colorado states that are like, we'll see how much water we're going to send your way. We're still working that out.
Man.
End of the year, that agreement runs out, by the way.
Wow.
And the feds and the courts may have to step in.
Okay, well, stay tuned for that. 5:30, right?
5:30.
All right.
Here we have John Hook next.
Hang with us. We're talking aliens, out of this world conversation coming up.
Hey, welcome back to Fox 10 Talks. Brian Webb, Trenton Hooker here. Michael Loeb back there. Join us on YouTube and chime in on our conversation. And we have John Hook here, our resident alien expert.
You know what? My position has always been, I'm open-minded about it. I just think we can't close our mind to the idea that something could reach us. And we go, well, there's no technology that would allow anybody to move that quickly. Well, maybe if you've got a civilization 1 billion years older than us, they may have figured it out by now.
I heard a guy, I told this last time, I heard a guy in college on late night, overnight radio. I couldn't sleep, one of those
Was it Art
shows.
Bell?
It might have been Art Bell. But he said it's pretty arrogant of us to think that we are the only living things in the entire universe. So I'm like, yeah, I guess he's right. I mean, that would be a little arrogant.
Kind of built in the human condition that we don't understand something, so we have to degrade it.
Exactly.
It's not legitimate.
Or go, well, that's a little too much to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's ex-nay that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You know,
well, we do that with
it's
everything,
survival.
don't we? Yeah, it is. And so you talked to our man, is it Avi Loeb, who we had on a couple of weeks ago. Did you have him on last week again?
Well, it wasn't last week, but it was the week before while you were out traversing Switzerland the wonderful life there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. We'll talk about that
Okay.
at a later date.
Might be on a most wanted list somewhere. We're not sure.
Well, that has nothing to do with Switzerland.
True. But he obviously talked about this object. It's the third interstellar object to come into our solar system, 3I Atlas. And just as this thing where it started, I believe it was the end of July really is when they first discovered it. But just in a month, so much has happened with
Totally. Yeah. And he's a Harvard astrophysicist, highly credentialed. And he just said, the way he views it, that the signature on it does not look to him like a comet because there's a glow coming from it internally, which he thinks suggests a power source. He's even offered up there may be a nuclear power source at the nucleus of this object. He said the space rock doesn't exist in the system to create a rock, a composite that big. It's the size of Manhattan.
Yeah.
And he's like, this doesn't look like anything we've seen. Now, NASA disagrees, but NASA also discovered an asteroid, as I pointed out on the program.
Yes.
They discovered an asteroid that turned out to be Elon Musk's, what was it?
It was this Tesla that he sent to space.
The Tesla he launched into space. So NASA's been wrong before.
Yeah, with the doll in it.
With the doll in it. Right.
Oh, my gosh.
So this guy's interesting. He's just a free thinker, and he's also opening this whole idea that we need to open the aperture about possibilities and not be so close-minded that this is impossible.
Yeah.
He said, we're really going to get caught flat-footed if we don't open our mind a little bit and go, something could make a run at us, friend or foe, and try to make contact. And he said, and we've got to be ready for that.
And who was it that said it was Hawking said we maybe want to think twice about trying to make contact out there? Wouldn't it?
I think there's some truth to that.
Well,
yeah,
and
because we're beaming stuff out there all the time.
Yeah,
right. And we had talked to him last time about that because obviously there's the Fermi paradox, which is, there's supposed to be all the space in the universe, then where's all the life? But he suggested there's an answer to that paradox, the dark hunter theory, where it's a dark forest, right? And you have a hunter in it, and all the animals, us and the alien life, are hiding from those other forces and don't want to be heard if they are going to be intelligent. That's aware
interesting.
Of that.
So this came up in our conversation today. I said, is it traveling at a speed that is out of our knowledge? He said no. Because if it were, we wouldn't be able to even capture it on a telescope.
Okay.
You'd get a frame, but you wouldn't even know what it is.
Right.
So, and I said, well, does that suggest that it wants to be seen? He said, that's interesting. We don't, obviously we don't know. And I asked him, is it steering at all, or is it on a straight path? And right now it appears it's on a straight path.
Straight path. Okay.
Amazing.
As soon as it makes a little U-turn or a little zig, then I get really worried.
Oh yeah. No. Well, he said we would have an answer probably by the end of September.
Right.
As to what this is, we're going to get a look at it, and then we'll know.
People must eat this up on Newsmaker, huh? I mean, it's like the Phoenix Lights. It just people love this stuff.
I think it's the essential question that we all have: are we alone?
Yeah.
I mean, that is the ultimate question, right?
Sure is.
Yeah.
All this other stuff about, and I don't want to minimize it, but even Ukraine and Russia,
Yeah.
this pales in comparison to something like this, right?
What does it do to religion,
Everything.
and history, and the future? It all changes.
And would it be a
Like that.
galvanizing force for humanity,
Exactly.
or would it be a dividing force
Right.
for humanity? And we talked about that.
Right.
Yeah, and we asked him last time, I know, that with the quote from Ronald Reagan about if there was this out of this world threat that would happen, would the powers that be at that time, the Soviet Union and the United States, would humanity come together to do that?
What did he think?
He said that that was the entire impetus for him to come to America, was the idea that we could join forces together for a higher cause, i.e. science, to unite to answer some of these questions. And if a threat is out there, that we would come together to do it.
It really changes the whole question of
Right.
everything. Borders, countries.
Right.
It's kind of like,
All that doesn't matter.
what are we doing and why are we fighting with each other?
Exactly. Right. Although I'm kind of dark sometimes, and I have a feeling we'd come together at first. At first,
9/11?
9/11,
Yeah.
the pandemic.
And then you would have one
I've
leader,
seen this movie
Yeah.
before,
Yeah,
except
I know, Brian.
it's a,
one leader trash talking the other on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It would fall apart real
You can only
quick.
go by history and our response so far.
human beings.
not
We're
been pretty.
still a work in progress, aren't we?
One thing I do want to talk about, I mean, you mentioned the Phoenix Lights, but it seems like Arizona has just a buzz for the unidentified in the air compared to a lot of other states. But I know we have some of the most beautiful skies in the U.S. and observatories that do that.
Clear
Right.
skies, too.
Right. But it does seem like there's at least an under thread of people being, Arizonans maybe being a little more open to, hey, let's look into that. What's going
Was
on?
that code for crazy?
Could be. Some would say. Like Steve Nielsen would say. Yeah, he was here last time.
Well, you know, we had Fire in the Sky with Travis Walton right up on the rim. So we've had a few events here and the Phoenix Lights that have kind of softened the battlefield where people
Yeah.
are like, wow, what is the deal here? And we didn't get a great explanation about the Phoenix
Can I
Lights.
get you?
yeah.
Can I take you back to that? I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Were you on the air that night here?
Yes. And the newsroom lit up.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, our governor, Fife Symington,
Yeah.
saw it, and he was a naval aviator.
Right.
Fife Symington said, I saw it from my house. It was not of this world, and I followed it in his car as far as he could. He said that, whatever that was, the triangular object, there were two events that night. He said that was something not of this world. It is not anything I've ever seen.
How did you handle it? Trying to, you're covering house fires and murders and
Isn't an arrow in my quiver?
Right.
yeah,
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
You know what? We didn't know what it was either. We just got reports of something happening.
Right.
We didn't know what it was. So we're getting reports, but we couldn't even dissect it at that point on the air that night.
Okay.
It was only in the days that followed did we start to try to piece together what was going on. And there was a balloon drop at the Goldwater Gunnery Range. And they were a little obtuse about what that was about. So that heightened everybody's. We didn't get clear answers for a while, but there was a separate event, the balloon drop, and then this triangular object with the lights. And that there were two events seen by people. One of them can be explained, but the triangular one is the one that I don't know that we've gotten a great explanation. It might have been, what would the bomber be, a B-2? Could it have been a B-2?
Yeah. But wasn't it
1997?
Right. Well, and I know the idea too, if I'm not mistaken, but the Air Force at least was saying it was partially a training exercise with the A-10 Warthogs and some of
So
their.
they could have been in formation that gave the
Yes, and the
appearance
V.
of.
Right.
Yeah, I
And-
remember that.
And the flares.
It's coming back to me.
Yeah, might have, been part of that with some of the training. But I just remember the distances too and what people were seeing. And even Fife Symington saying, like, that's not what I saw. I know an A-10. I know what these weapon
Exactly.
systems are.
He
That's not
said
what
it was
I saw.
one object.
But I thought it was interesting, though, if we could talk about when he showed up to the press conference wearing the alien outfit.
Yeah, well, it was actually Jay Hiler, his communications guy, who
Right.
showed up in the alien.
But he knew
suit.
about it. Yeah,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah. So
So
he
no.
showed up, and they just faced derision over it. They were just trying to have a little fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people really got worked up about that. They thought it was, undignified.
Right.
Symington has a sense of humor, and he's like, this would be funny.
Right.
So
But it,
Jay Hiler showed up in an alien suit, a silver alien suit.
oh, the 90s.
Yeah.
It's the difference between TV. Yeah.
But it kind of went against what the governor at the time, he thought it was legit. He wasn't making fun of it. He thought
No.
he thought it was he could have fun, but he thought it was a real deal.
I interviewed him a few years ago, and he went back to that. And I said, "Yeah, what about that whole thing?" He goes, "That craft was not of this world. That's all I'll tell you."
Amazing.
I said, "Were you drinking?" He said, "No."
Don't
So
you
where's the
guys
governor?
think with the whole alien discussion? I mean, we have a perfect example of it already on Earth. You think about the Sentinel Island tribe. I mean, we know they exist. They don't really know we exist outside of a few pieces of contact. So now you have the same species on the same rock with the same interaction that an alien would theoretically have with us, except they're in a different solar system and a different species. Like, if we haven't even discovered we know they exist, but if you're a Sentinel Island tribesman, you might as well be on
That's
another
interesting,
planet.
yeah.
We might as well be aliens. It's sort of the same dynamic on this own rock,
Leave it to Obi to go really deep.
He goes very
He surprises
existential.
you sometimes,
Uh-huh.
right?
Spend a lot of
Brant
time
goes-
thinking about that.
You
That's
don't know
a
where it's
deep
gonna be.
pull, man. I
he
like
can,
that.
He can go like the quick shot and just jab you with one.
Yeah, deck
or
ya.
he can go deep into the South American jungles and pull out some
Right
tribe
into
out
your
of-
groin region.
Well, we could talk about my abduction.
Really?
I was abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
okay. So speaking about this topic, the probe part, which I thought was interesting, where you had asked pointedly where this object's supposed to be with where the Earth is. It's not coming
No.
close to the Earth.
Earth is on the other side
What-
of the sun.
What was his answer to that?
He just said it's almost as if it were intentional
Yeah.
to
Meaning-
make our ability to view it
Oh.
limited.
Right.
He
And-
said it looks somewhat intentional.
And it could be that there were mini probes coming off of it if they wanted
We
to
shall
go back.
call it Mini Pro.
Send in the probe.
And then, of course, they're going to get to Earth.
Arm
and-
the Pro.
Maybe there'll be some fembots on there.
Right.
I'm single.
Yeah. Yeah. In Switzerland's still a great place. That's right. It's a great
what do
time
the
to take out
aliens
a life
look
And then, of
insurance
course,
policy.
they're going to think that the dogs are our owners when they see us at the dog park picking up
Yes.
after them and all
Yes.
that.
So they are the apex species.
not
Right.
us. Good
All right.
stuff, John. You're the man, dude.
You guys
Good
fun.
stuff.
Love it.
Always
All right.
fun.
Always
Thanks
have
for
All right, I'm
coming
gonna
in,
get my
man.
coffee
Appreciate
and
it.
skedaddle.
All
Gotta
right,
get back
see
to
you
the
soon.
Are you
news.
taking a break?
Yeah, we're
We're
about to
taking a
come
break?
up to it.
Our boss
Okay.
over there, Dave, says, hey,
Okay. Dave,
Dave says break.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Dave is brave enough to cut off John.
Hey, thanks for sticking with us on Fox 10 Talks. So we just had the conversation with John Hook. Aliens. Do they exist? Do they not? A lot of opinions there. Isabella Frederickson joining us here. Isabella, what's your take on that?
Yeah.
On the aliens?
Yeah.
Do you have time for aliens? There's a lot going on in your life, I know.
I wouldn't be mind if I got abducted by an alien, honestly.
You wouldn't mind? You give it
No.
a shot?
I would. For the investigative journalism part.
Oh, really?
I think that was out of
I
her
would
wheelhouse.
take
Not that
one to
bad.
the
The one
team.
we had
I
on,
would
yeah.
take one for
When
the
she tested
team.
out.
I'd let them
Wow.
kidnap me
Love
and I'd report back.
Because remember the movie Close Encounters, they did want humans to go with them, remember? And some volunteers.
the whole
And
point.
now we know.
Yeah,
The signs are there.
I would volunteer.
Love it. See, look at that. Look at that
That's
enthusiasm.
sheer
Don't you miss that,
bravery.
Brian?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
lost that somewhere along the way.
Aw.
Well, not bravery to go on an
Exactly.
alien ship. I
Sign
don't
me up.
think
I'll do
so.
it. Where do I need to go? Making it happen.
Do you think if the aliens abducted Brian, they would just go back home pretty quickly?
That's it.
They
No
just
more?
spit me right out
They're
the
like,
ship.
you know,
Of all the specimens we could have got,
Yeah.
this is the one we got. Come on.
Love it.
we want to leave a
give
bad
I got
taste in their
Isabella
mouth.
Frederickson.
Okay.
Come on.
So, what's going on in your world? What are we talking about today?
So I thought two topics that'd be very fun to talk with you two is male haircuts, which you guys can both relate to. I see you guys both look like you got haircuts pretty recent. You guys
Sure,
look nice.
I did on Tuesday, as a matter of
Oh,
fact, which
well,
was, I
there
think,
you go.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
getting haircuts is like one of the favorite things I do in my life.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like the only ritual I think a lot of guys have, besides a few
good
other
point.
things, but
Yeah.
mostly hair.
And I like the guy who cuts my hair, and he's
Yeah,
my
you have to.
friend, and
Good.
we shoot the stuff about
Yeah.
life.
Do you guys do the full shave and everything?
No,
It's
a
no, I can't
massage.
afford that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't afford your kind of luxury,
Yeah, I
personal
think the massage
care.
is pushing it. Yeah, it's like, come on, what are we doing?
Well, I had a haircut guy who had the massage machine, Michael. You know, the one that
outsourced it.
The gun.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that was perfect, man.
That's like luxury. You have to do like a little upcharge for that one.
Sure.
But it's nice that you enjoy the haircut. We'll have to get to you if you like it too.
Look at his
because-
hair is perfect. It
Yeah,
never
no,
moves,
it
man.
looks
It's the one
great.
thing. That's it.
He could go walk in a tornado, come out the other side. It would still look exactly like
Inches
that.
of hair
That's
gel.
impressive.
Ridiculous.
Well, a study came out yesterday, and it says that a lot of men disagree with you in terms of enjoying
They don't like
the
it.
haircut. Yes. So this was published in the New York Post yesterday, and it said 1 in 5 men get haircut anxiety, according to
Oh.
this new poll. So 2,000 U.S. men were surveyed for this, and it came out that 21% feel either nervous or anxious when they are going to get their haircut.
Well, I am before I found the guy that I like and trust.
Right.
If ever I went to a new guy, yeah, I was worried he was
It's a
going to
lot.
mess it up.
Yeah, yeah. Especially moving to a new area, you got to find the right one.
Yeah.
I went through like 6 to find a place I like.
And I know you
yeah.
have a story.
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
Story
Okay,
about
so-
a haircut.
Yeah.
This was interesting. So again, what do you do after you get a bad haircut? Like when you're in the chair and you're getting it. I mean, do you tell the person right then
Right.
and there, like,
You can see
hey,
the train wreck
you
coming.
screwed up my hair.
Okay.
Like this looks like garbage. What am I going to do here? But or you just kind of, hey, thanks, looks great.
Right.
I want to get out of here as
Yeah.
fast as I
Yeah.
can.
Right.
That's
And
what
then
I
you got to
do.
have the awkward decision of like, well, do I go home and try to fix it myself, which is never
Never a
a
good
option.
idea.
Or do I find another barber,
Yep.
haircut place, maybe later? Hey, they screwed up my hair. Well, so I was in the middle of a haircut, this place back in Texas a few years ago, probably like 3/4 of the way through, but I'd say it's the critical last home stretch, 25% need it done.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah, especially with trimming up. And in the middle of it, I was the only person in there. This was kind of towards close, and the lady who was cutting my hair, she, we had a pleasant conversation, but I could tell she had a lot going on. She was very revealing about her personal life and her dating life. Well, then the owner of the barbershop comes in, and they start having a dispute. Just going at it about scheduling and, hey, did you put all your tips in last night? Because I noticed that was short. And instead of doing,
Oh, while
like,
you're sitting there.
while I'm
Tape
sitting there
on.
in the chair, and instead of just
Oh.
like, well, I've got a customer here. Can I talk to you maybe in 5
little
minutes?
unprofessional.
The last one there, all out. It starts escalating, and I'm thinking, oh crap! I just need my haircut done. How's this going to play out? She gets even more animated, more angry, And she said, well, if you don't like the way that I'm doing it, I quit.
Oh,
That's
no.
it. Cuts my hair, last part, and then gets out of there. Slams her stuff down, gets her bag, runs out the store. And I'm like, well, what the hell do I do now?
Still sitting
I'm
there
in the middle
with the
of
cape
it.
on.
I look at the owner. I'm like, do you know how to cut hair? No, man, I just own the place. And so I just said, like, he's like, well, I can get your money back. And I go, what? A lot of good that's going to do me.
Classic.
So I had to wait like a whole day with a 75% haircut.
Oh, no.
There's nothing worse than that.
Wow.
And just had to retell the awkward story multiple times to about 5 people. Like, nope. This is what happened. Couldn't believe it. Went in, and luckily they had somebody else who could finish it. But horrible.
Oh, my
I was a prisoner.
That's
really
crazy.
Mhm.
And just
Did you
having to
tip?
witness that altercation.
I definitely
It's a
did
little
to
awkward.
myself. Yeah, later.
Well-
Lots of drinks were to be had.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, an angry lady with a pair of scissors.
Yes. Right.
Dangerous.
Terrifying scenario.
The red flag that she's sharing a little bit too much of her personal
Right.
life. There's that. And then you are kind of psychologically trapped in that chair. Once they put the little apron thing on you and your hair's kind of all jacked
No
up.
turning back.
There's no turning back.
Right.
Right. So I applaud you that, like, I mean, my first thought was, I'm out of here. And I guess I'm just going to the next barbershop down the street and trying to explain
Well, that was
the
the
story.
thing. It was so late. None of them were open.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
You
was stuck
didn't
with it.
want your wife to see it when you got home?
I had a walk of shame coming in.
Yeah.
And she's like, why are you
Aw.
still wearing your hat?
Like,
And I was
honey, I need to explain something before you look at me. Don't look at
Okay.
me. Don't look at me.
This is exactly how it happened. Not a word that was different, honey. I promise.
Some of my worst decisions have been haircuts. Like, and it, almost to a T, when I go to a new place that was more expensive, the worse it got, because they tried to be like artists
To justify the price.
And I just wanted a Joe
They use
Blow
a really
Right.
good, like,
haircut.
smelling
Right.
shampoo.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, the other
Yeah, I mean,
problem
come on.
too is where they're not understanding the instructions of what you want. And you're like, I just want this and this and this. That's it. How can you mess that up? And it's still like, what'd you say again?
Yeah.
You said you wanted that, but we're already too far out of the gate.
True that. And then I also think that the part about where they don't pay attention after a while, like
Yeah.
their thoughts have already moved on, and you know,
It's rough.
Trenton, was this a sports themed haircut place?
That's a great question.
Number one.
It's
Stay
a
away
great
from
question.
those
It was
guys.
a themed one.
Oh.
But it was not
Trains?
right. Yes, train and fades, I believe. No, sadly, it was not the sports themed one. At least I would have a
do you
distraction.
like to share the theme that it was?
It was, it was kitschy. Like, this is the guys' place.
Okay.
and
The
it's like,
bros.
A lot of
Great.
leather.
so glad this happens to me. The drinks were available if you wanted them.
Oh.
Yada, yada.
I did
It
have
not
a
make it better.
haircut in Phoenix that was so bad, I did go to a barbershop on the way home.
Wow.
And did
and-
they
and-
get you right?
The writer,
Okay.
Yeah.
it was just like, what is going on here? You know, this is.
no.
I just say, hey, give me the Tom Cruise. I mean, come on. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
He's got basic hairdo. I mean, how can you mess that
It's
up?
got to work if you're jumping
And
out of
they-
a plane.
and-
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, at our age, we're just happy we're getting haircuts
Yeah.
still, because a lot of guys our age don't need to
Good
go
point.
get a
That's so
haircut
true.
anymore.
That's so
So-
true.
So I just count my blessings. If it's a bad haircut,
It's like, at
I
least I still have hair on my
I still
head.
got it. Still got it, baby.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, that was a nice little
Hmm.
haircut chat. If we have time for the second talker, I wanted to
Bring it on.
bring
Let's
up
do
with
it.
you guys. So I do think we might have touched on this briefly a couple shows ago, how this zoo in Denmark is requesting for pet donations to feed their zoo animals. And it's something about just keeping the food chain alive. I'm not sure.
Oh my God.
But it
But
came
it was like
out
pets,
Yes.
dogs, cats, sheep,
Dogs,
horses.
cats.
Even cats.
Yes.
Is cats
Yeah.
kind of a
Oh,
problem?
yeah.
You would think so.
So this woman, a Danish lady, donated her daughter's pet pony to the zoo so it could be eaten by specifically the lions. The daughter was a teenager and she had a German riding pony, and it was donated to the zoo.
Lord.
Is someone there to witness this carnage and see a poor, helpless, was it a donkey you said? Pony.
It was a riding pony.
Pony.
So I think on
A
the, maybe
helpless
the smaller
pony
end.
that is only known
Uh.
cute little girls riding it around a closed park area. Next thing he knows, he probably doesn't even know what a tiger is. Lion,
Were
tiger.
they alive?
No, so to add a little clarity on it, they did say they humanely euthanized them before they're chopped up into lion food.
I guess at least that.
Make you feel a little better.
At least that.
Yeah. I can't even imagine the little girl's reaction when she gets home. She's like, where's the horse go? Where's my pony?
And I know I did say a teenager, but she was 13. So
yeah.
So
13 is much different
girl.
than maybe 17 or
My
18.
Little Pony is in the big one.
What's a pony name? Yeah, like where's
Sparky.
Where's Sparky? I was gonna ride her.
Yeah.
And
is there a
Tiger
minimum
King
weight of animal? Like a hamster's not gonna do.
There's a lot of hamsters.
You know,
they were all like at least medium-sized animals. Again, dogs, cats.
You know what this reminded me of? It probably is a male rite of passage. Michael, weigh in if you experience this. But I remember being in some high school guy's house, and of course he had a snake, and of course he had to feed it, and it was a live whatever. And I'm like, seriously? I mean,
I had a snake.
Did you put the live
It was
rodent in
frozen
there?
mice at first, and then once I had to put live mice in, it was time to get rid of the snake.
It's too much.
It was given to me. I didn't even get the snake originally. It was left with me while my friend was at college.
Is that like I'm asking for a friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Secondhand snake.
Yeah,
It's not the
secondhand
good
snake.
one.
But
No.
it was
Back to
just like
dogs for
it was
me.
like this is awful. Gonna watch. I mean, I know that's nature. I know. I'm sorry, but he was trapped, the rodent, and the snake's hungry, and it was like we're supposed to sit here and watch this. This is awful.
The worst part is you think your girlfriend wants to watch it. You're like, hey, babe, do you want to come over?
You thought it would be a bonding experience. Just
She wasn't
tears.
imaginary, but still, did want to see it.
No, she's there. Really.
Oh my gosh, what a show, man! We covered snakes and aliens and
There really isn't another topic we need to touch on today.
haircuts.
Yeah, that's true. We probably need to get our haircuts soon because the aliens are coming.
You want to look
He
good
said-
for the aliens,
I
right?
would think that would probably fare better, especially when it comes to the probes.
Do you know what?
Hey, you got a fresh cut.
True. But do you think they're going to think we look really ugly? Because God knows what they're going to look like.
Watching us feed our ponies to the lions, yeah.
They might
no
witness
hope.
that and then turn right back around. I
True.
don't know.
Like
Yeah,
they
what if
might.
the aliens are
That's probably
beautiful?
the best outcome.
Yeah.
What if the aliens are beautiful? Right. What
Gotta
if,
have the haircut.
I mean, or if
We'll
they
think
come
they're
here
nice.
and they're ugly, but to them they're pretty, and they look down here and they're like, even the Kardashians, they're like, nah. I just came out of my head. I don't know why I said Kardashians.
We know what you've been watching.
That's it.
Okay.
Gotta
Thanks,
go.